It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive, bringing you guys episode 18 of our Road to Regional series here, where I learn the VGC 2017 format and ultimately compete in St. Louis Regionals on March 4th, in just about a month away actually as of this going up. Now I haven't really played a ton of VGC as of late. If you guys don't know, my man Munching Orange is over the house, so he's been here for the last couple days. He'll be here for a few more days, so I haven't had as much time to dedicate to this series as I would like, but starting next week again, we should be back on our normal grind trying to post nearly daily episodes, so it should be pretty good. And as we approach a little bit closer towards the middle and end of February, I'm going to be spending a lot of time trying to practice, and I'm actually going to be trying to upload some best of threes to the channel. I've been working on getting some more collaborations going down. I reached out to Ray Rizzo. He does seem like he's on board to do an episode with us, so that'll be really cool. I believe he's a 3-time world champion or something like that, so very, very good company that looks like they're going to be jumping on this series. Otherwise, I've been playing this team a little bit on Showdown, and I've been having a lot of fun still with it, and I think it's got a lot of potential, so I want to kind of keep tweaking this a little bit. I might try to do like an offensive Arcanine at some point, because I feel like that might be better with the team, because it is a little bit kind of not exactly as offensive as I would like. It kind of relies on Bulu and Gyarados a little too much to put on the pressure, and Nihilego, but if Nihilego stopped, it's not as good. But I did make one tweak. I switched Ice Fang out instead of Earthquake. I wanted to try Ice Fang. I had used Ice Fang in the past, but wanted to try Earthquake, and now I'm switching it back. So too many weaknesses on my team to Earthquake. And last but not least, they did roll out the QR teams as a feature, which was promised when Sun and Moon first was released. I have yet to try them myself, so I don't really know much about them, but my understanding is you could simply scan a QR code, and then you can actually use that person's team from the QR code. So that could actually make this a lot more fun for our series too, because I could use people's QR codes or whatever, so I don't have to build the team and stuff. So we may try to integrate that, but I was reading something about like there's potential for it to hurt your device. I don't even know, guys. I have no idea. But have you tried the QR teams yet? If you have, let me know in the comment section below and kind of what your thoughts are. Either way, let's jump into a match here. I'm a little bit rusty. Like I said, I haven't really played too much as of late, but I've been messing around with this team here every once in a while, and I'm really enjoying using Togedemaru. I think it's like really good. I've been having a lot of luck with it using Fake Out and Nuzzle and Spiky Shield and all that stuff. It's proven to be a pretty effective Pokemon, despite the fact that, generally speaking, it's not the greatest Pokemon. I mean, it's a Togedemaru, but this Air Balloon seems to be working out relatively well, and it works out well against things like Garchomp, who can't Earthquake it because it's got the balloon, and they can't really do a whole lot to it otherwise. So it's been pretty interesting, and it can Nuzzle and all that good stuff. So let's see what this guy's got. He's got, actually, I think that's, yeah, that's totally it's totally Aaron's team. So this is Aaron Cybertron Zhang's team. I'm very familiar with it. It's got like HP Fire Coco. He's got the Nihilego, the Snorlax for Anti-Trick Room. The Arcanine, the Gyarados runs Waterium Z, and I believe the Garchomp is Scarf Chomp. So it's actually funny. I'm pretty sure he's running the exact team, so that really helps out. So I think for this one, I do like Gyarados lead, and I like Togedemaru lead. I think those two could be really effective, because I could kind of shut down the Tapu Koko. He can't really do too much to me, and then I can actually put some pressure on with Gyarados into either Nihilego or Togedemaru. I guess the only issue with that is if he were to lead Chomp Koko, which is pretty standard, but even in that situation, like he can't Earthquake into Togedemaru, and I could Fake Out and put some pressure on his team. And then in terms of other Pokemon I want to bring, I do like Ninetales in this matchup. I think it could be relatively effective. I think Arcanine could be okay, but I don't think it's good enough. I do like Ninetales, and I think I like my own Nihilego. I don't think I like yeah, I think I'm just gonna default to these four, because I don't really see Arcanine doing a ton in this matchup, because I don't have Wild Charge and I don't have Will-O-Wisp either, and it's gonna just get bopped by the Nihilego. So I'm gonna rock with those four. Not exactly my best matchup, but I believe I know the exact team we're facing, so that should be pretty helpful. I've got some good intel on this one, but we'll see what he ends up bringing. I'm assuming he might lead that Garchomp Koko, and I do know that, again, that Garchomp is Scarfed, so the only thing it would really be able to do to me right off the bat would be potentially go for like a Rock Slide, because it can't Earthquake into my Togedemaru. So we might be able to take advantage of that and maybe get a big hit off here with like the Fake Out and Waterium Z into Koko or something. But he's gonna lead Chomp Arcanine, which is totally fine. And again, I do know that Chomp is Scarf, so we have a couple different options here. I think what I'm gonna end up doing is I think I wanna Fake Out into the Arcanine slot, and then I think I wanna go and go for the Ice Fang into the Chomp slot, because I know he really can't do anything with that Chomp. The only thing is we are -1, but even at -1, I think we're gonna put a good amount of pressure on him and at least keep him from going for Earthquake here. So I'm gonna make the safe play here and just simply go for the Fake Out into the Arcanine, like I said. And we're gonna actually Ice Fang into, I could actually Dragon Dance too as an option. That'll give us an opportunity to at least outspeed the Nihilego. I don't really think that's a terrible play. He's intimidated, so he's not gonna be able to really do too much. So let's actually go for the Dragon Dance here, just in case he switches out the Garchomp, because I don't think a -1 Ice Fang is gonna knock out the Garchomp at this range. So I'd like to get the Dragon Dance off first, and then we can pressure both Arcanine and Garchomp on the following turn. But I am expecting a Rock Slide here from the Garchomp, and expecting it to be Scarfed. And then again, we're gonna fake out into the Arcanine, so kind of hinder that useless. But he's gonna go for the Protect, totally fine by me. That's actually gonna allow me to go for an Encore on the following turn into him. We go for the fake out into the Protect, doesn't do anything, and he is gonna go for the Fire Fang actually into my Togedemaru slot. We are gonna live that though, because we are bulky Togedemaru, which is quite nice. And then we get the Dragon Dance, and that's gonna be really sweet because now I can put some serious pressure on his team here, including going for a Waterium Z into the Arcanine. I can do a couple different things. I do actually like switching out here and maybe going into Nihilego, because I know he's locked into Fire Fang with his Garchomp, so there's not a whole lot he can do. And I can simply Waterium Z into that other slot. He really doesn't have anything that he could bring in that slot that wants to take a Waterium Z, so I think I just get to fire off Waterium Z into that slot, and maybe I just go for the Spiky Shield here, because I don't think Arcanine's living a Hydro Vortex, and I know the Garchomp is essentially rendered useless. So let's actually just go for the Spiky Shield. I'll keep him on the field, and we're gonna go for the Hydro Vortex into the Arcanine slot and try to pick up that knockout, because anything you switch ins here is not gonna really like the hit. And he's gonna actually switch out the Chomp into Lax actually. So I wasn't expecting to see the Snorlax in this match, but we're gonna get a Spiky Shield off here just in case that Arcanine tries to target us. But I will be faster, and I will be able to connect my Z move here, and I believe this will do enough. I mean, we are not +1 anymore, we're just neutral because of the Intimidate from before. But this is a Hydro Vortex coming from a pretty powerful Adamant Gyarados here, so I would imagine this will knock out the Arcanine and pick up the kill. But what I am worried about is him potentially trying to go into his Garchomp here and now try to freely Earthquake. But we're gonna snag the kill on the Arcanine, which is very nice. And we know that Garchomp is Scarfed. We have good intel on that. And now it's just a matter of what his fourth is. And if it's Coco, then we're actually in a decent spot because Togedemaru can really put some pressure on there too. So, and the Snorlax isn't as scary right now because I don't think it's the Belly Drum variant. I think it's the Curse variant, if I remember Cybertron's team, but I'm not exactly sure. So he does bring Garchomp back in, and I'm assuming he's gonna try to fire off an Earthquake here. He could also go for the Rock Slide, but I'm expecting the Earthquake, and that is a bit scary because he does have a bit of an advantage against me in that regard. I do kind of want to save my Togedemaru, but I don't really have a good switch into it. I mean, I can go into Ninetales, take a potential Earthquake, but there's not a whole lot I can do there. And I did just Spiky Shield on the previous turn, so if he EQs, then he's gonna knock me out anyway. But I think I'm just gonna let Togedemaru go down at this point in time. So what I'll probably do is I'm gonna fire off a, I think I'm actually gonna double Spiky Shield and just hope we get it. And then I'll Ice Fang into the Garchomp. Because like worst case scenario, he like Fire Fangs into me. I really don't think it's that big of a deal. I could nuzzle into the Snorlax too. Listen, yeah, let me go for the Spiky Shield, and I gotta click my move here really quick. I clicked the wrong move. I didn't click Ice Fang, I clicked Waterfall. That was a misclick. I missed the Spiky Shield. Here comes a Dragon Claw, so it's not the end of the world. He might go for high horsepower though into into my Gyarados, but I totally misplayed that. If I Ice Fanged, we might have been able to pick up the kill there, but that's my own fault. And here comes the Curse Lax. So the good news with that though is I can Encore the Lax at least into Curse, which is definitely gonna make it hard to beat, but it's not the end of the world. So yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna go for the Encore into the Snorlax and lock him into that, and I will go for the what do I want to do here? I think I just want to Ice Fang. No, you know what I'm gonna do? He's locked into it. I'm just gonna switch into Ninetales. He really can't do anything to me, and I don't think he can knock out my Togedemaru, so I'll just go to Ninetales. He went for Dragon Claw, so he's Scarfed. As far as I know, he's Scarfed. If he's not, then good plays. But yeah, I think I could just Encore the Snorlax because he can't knock me out. He can't knock Togedemaru out, and we can go into Ninetales and then start threatening him with Blizzards. And he loses his Garchomp at that point in time. It also allows me to get up an Aurora Veil, which can protect our Nihilego. But obviously Snorlax is a huge issue if Togedemaru goes down, because he'll just have like a ton of curses up, and there's not a whole lot I can do about that. But I think the pressure that Nihilego puts on will be effective. So let's go to Ninetales here. Hopefully he'll Dragon Claw into the Ninetales slot, and we can set the Hail, and then we can Encore the Snorlax here. And if for some reason that Chomp isn't Scarf, then actually we know it's Scarf because Gyarados would have outsped. So here comes the Dragon Claw, and it does not affect me. Encore goes into the Snorlax slot, and we are going to lock him in to into Curse, which is amazing because he's infinitely locked into Curse at this point in time, and there's not anything he can do about it. So what I can do now, which is really cool, is I could fire off a Blizzard and go for the Nuzzle into the Garchomp slot, which is kind of cool because he's not going to be able to knock me out with a Dragon Claw into the Togedemaru. At least I don't anticipate that to be the case. Or I could simply Spiky Shield Blizzard here, just in case he does try to Dragon Claw into me. But I kind of like the Nuzzle play. Although, no, you know what? I think the Spiky Shield play is the best play, because really the worst case scenario is he switches out into, the worst case scenario is he switches out into like Coco or something. So I think I just simply Spiky Shield because he really can't do much to me. And then I'll just go for the Blizzard here, just in case. Yeah, he may switch out into Coco, but I'm really not too concerned because Coco can't really do a whole lot, and I do have a Sash still intact, so let's do this. And if he does have Coco, he can't really do anything. So he's going to switch out Chomp here, and he does go into Nihilego. Okay, so that's actually really interesting that he has Nihilego, and a little bit scary because now I'm in a little bit more trouble than I was previously. I don't know if I can straight up just knock out Nihilego, but we'll go for the Blizzard here and see what happens. And see how we handle this Nihilego. It doesn't really do a ton, and he's just going to get the Curse off again, so I do have to try to figure out like whether this Nihilego can knock out my Togedemaru at this point in time. If I Nuzzle into it, that could be really good. All he can do to me is I think all he can do to me is like Power Gem into my whatchamacallit, Ninetales. So I'm gonna actually go for the Nuzzle into the Nihilego slot. I don't think he can knock me out. He probably has HP Ice, so he probably can't. So I'm gonna go for the Blizzard now too, and try to double into him. And we know that Snorlax is still locked into Curse, so if I can get the Nuzzle off into the Nihilego slot, then we'll paralyze it and make it so everything on my team outspeeds it. And we essentially remove that in at least some regards as a threat, so that'll be nice. This is going to be interesting though, because we are going to get the Blizzard off, which is really nice. That could be super useful. I'm curious to see what this Nihilego does. It looks like after Nuzzle damage plus Hail, another Blizzard might be able to knock out the Nihilego, so that could be really good for us. He goes for the Power Gem and does indeed target the Ninetales slot, which is exactly what I wanted because I do have the, obviously I do have the Sash, and now the Nuzzle, and he's Life Orb too, so that's really great. So that puts him into Blizzard range, and that allows me to continue to Encore the Snorlax into Curse and essentially render it useless. And obviously that Paralysis there is really important, because the reason why that Paralysis is so incredibly important is because now Togedemaru actually outspeeds Nihilego, and that allows me to ensure that I get my Encore off onto the Snorlax if the Encore ends here, which I believe it will. Oh, actually, I think we have one more turn of Encore. So that's really cool. So now I get to just fire off a Blizzard here, and I think the Encore is still intact. I'm not positive, but we'll find out here momentarily. No, it isn't. So that's kind of the whole sweet move there. So now I get to Encore into the Snorlax again, and we get to Blizzard again, and there's nothing he could do about that. And I mean, he could try to protect Nihilego here, but either way, I'm getting a Blizzard off, and if that Garchomp comes in, it's gonna die. It's gonna die. So we do run into the issue where if Garchomp does come in and Earthquakes, do I just lose actually? No, I still have Gyarados to get an Intimidate off, so it's not quite over. I'm a little concerned about that Garchomp coming in though. I'm not exactly sure what I can do about it though. Because I know that Garchomp's coming in and I will Encore him into Curse. But if Garchomp comes in and goes for Earthquake here, locks himself into Earthquake, which I think is what he has to do, that's gonna be very interesting. I'm actually really curious here whether he's gonna Earthquake or Rock Slide, because if he Rock Slides, actually I think he just Rock Slides. Is that what he does? I think he just Rock Slides. Because I don't have any way to outspeed the Chomp, or the Garchomp, and that really stings too, because if I had the Ice Fang earlier, that might have made a difference here, but I don't know if we can win this one now. Here comes the Garchomp, and I'm pretty sure he's just gonna go for the Earthquake. I actually have a pretty easy play here, just Spiky Shield, because that might give me an idea of what my best play is gonna be. And you know what? I think I know what I need to do. I think I actually know exactly what I need to do here. I need to switch out into Gyarados in the Togedemaru slot. And then I need to protect with my Ninetales. I think that's what I need to do. And just see what he wants to do. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna switch out Togedemaru into Gyarados and see if he goes for the Earthquake or whether he's gonna go for the Rock Slide. If he does go for the Rock Slide and knock out my Gyarados, then Togedemaru comes in and can fake out into the Garchomp and guarantee that I get a Blizzard off, and then hopefully we can win at that point in the match. I think that's what I have to do here. Let's see if he goes for the Rock Slide or not. That's gonna be a big deal. I hope he Rock Slides here. He goes for the Poison Jab actually into the Ninetales slot, so that's actually not that bad. It actually could be much worse. So that means he's locked into it, at least. And this Lax is getting really scary. The Hail stops, which is pretty interesting. So now what I have to do is I 1,000,000% have to go for the Ice Fang into the Garchomp to get rid of that. And then I'm actually going to switch out my Ninetales into my Togedemaru. Now that I know he's locked into Poison Jab, he actually can't hit my Togedemaru, and I don't believe a -1 Poison Jab from Garchomp has a chance to beat my Gyarados. I may have misplayed a slight bit here. I think I should have Waterfalled into the Garchomp instead of going for the Ice Fang. The only reason is the chance of Ice Fang missing here. He does Poison Jab into the Togedemaru slot, which is really cool, and we do connect the Ice Fang, so that should actually give us a really good opportunity here to win, because I believe the Snorlax is still going to be locked into Curse here, and then I can simply continuously Encore him into it while I Waterfall and win. So he does go for Curse again, and we do get the trap there with the Encore, so we actually had to play pretty toughly around that. Maybe he wasn't carrying Rock Slide. That would be the only thing I can think of, is he didn't have Rock Slide on it. He was carrying Fire Fang, Poison Jab, Earthquake, and Dragon Claw, so I think we did see pretty much this whole set, so that might explain that. But we're just going to Waterfall into the Snorlax here, and we are going to Encore the Snorlax and lock him into Infinite Curse. And at that point in time, we basically win the match. I can simply switch out into Nihilego on the following turn if I want to speed things along. But this Snorlax is locked in a Curse and it can't do anything else. So that was a very interesting match, and I think we played it very, very well. We had to really play around the Scarf Chomp, but it helped having all the intel of his team. And I think that's kind of one of the keys to best of 3 is information gathering and having the ability to kind of understand what your opponent's trying to do. And I think as a result, we are in a pretty good spot here. So I'm simply going to Nuzzle. And I did have a backup plan there, obviously. If he did go for the Rock Slide, like I said, if it knocked out my Gyarados, I did have the Togedemaru to simply fake out into the Garchomp and allow my Ninetales to pick up the final kill on the Garchomp. And at that point, as long as I still had my Togedemaru in play, or the ability to Encore this Snorlax, there's nothing it can really do to me. So now it's Encored into Curse. It is paralyzed as well. All I can do is sit there and Curse, and it's actually a +6 now. This is pretty easy for me to do. I just click Sludge Bomb at this point in time, and I could just Nuzzle for a little bit of extra damage here. There's not anything really I need to do at this point. I'm actually surprised my opponent hasn't forfeited yet, but I have plenty of Encores left, and we're gonna get a good amount of damage off there. And even at this point in time, there's no way the Snorlax can actually win this match. Just due to the Encore. So pretty sweet match there. I gotta say, I was very glad about how that played out. We had some really tough plays there, but we made it work. So I'm gonna Sludge Bomb and simply Encore, just in case something crazy happens, but I don't think we have anything to worry about here. So we'll chalk that up as a nice win, and we move to 24-14. So pretty nice stuff there. Nihilego is gonna pick up the last kill, and not too shabby, actually. I think, did we just win that 4-0? I'm not even sure. That was a really intense match. I think we actually won 4-0, if I'm not mistaken. Which wasn't a conventional 4-0. That definitely wasn't, that didn't feel like a 4-0 to me. But yeah, we just 4-0'd that guy. That was kind of cool. A lot of it, like I said, came from knowing what his team was, though. So anyway, pretty sweet start. Let's jump into one more, man. I think we can grab one more for today's ep and see what we get going on, and hopefully we can keep this going, man. We've done really well with this team so far, and I've really been enjoying Togedemaru. I think its typing is kind of weird because it has that huge ground weakness, but if we're able to mitigate that with the Air Balloon, it's actually proven to be relatively effective. So especially with Encore, as you can see, this has been a few times now where we've been able to use Encore to really shut down our opponent's team and make it really effective. So we got U10 from Japan, so we'll see what she's rocking with. And she's got Garchomp, Talonflame, Metagross, Salamence, Muck, and Gastro. So I definitely 1,000,000% need to be bringing my Ninetales to this match. And he does have that Metagross, which is quite scary, but I think I could play around it. I want to lead Ninetales because it does put some pressure on his team. And I do I like Togedemaru in this one? I do like Togedemaru because of Muck, but other than that, I don't really like it too much. I do like Nihilego, and I also like Gyarados Arcanine too. In fact, I think I'm gonna lead, Arcanine and Ninetales because I really like the ability to kind of scare off that Metagross a little bit easier. And I think I want to bring Nihilego in the back and maybe Gyarados because that's going to bring just a lot of offensive pressure to his team. The only problem with this setup is I can't beat his Gastrodon unless I get a Freeze Dry off on it. So that would be the only concern I have with the 4 I'm bringing right now. And I don't know if I want to end up in a situation like that. So I think I'm actually going to bring Bulu instead. Bulu doesn't have the best matchup, but I'm really fearing that Gastrodon. Although I guess I can just roll with Gyarados and just hope for the best. But I am really fearing Gastrodon here. I don't know if I have another choice. I think I just have to, or I drop Nihilego, but I think I'm just gonna rock with this. I have a bad feeling that we're gonna have a hard time dealing with the Gastrodon, but I will try to work around that and just try to preserve our Ninetales if I can, because we're gonna have, like I said, a really hard time around it. But the good news is Ninetales should outspeed both Garchomp and Salamence if he brings either of those, and it does match up relatively well aside from the Metagross. So we can get the we'll see what happens. Obviously, I can't intimidate the Metagross because of its clear body, but we'll see what he's going to lead with here. So he leads Metagross Muck, so not too surprising to see that. I think he might actually, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to, like, double into Ninetales here. So I'm not going to, like, allow that by any means. I'm totally going to switch out. So he could be, like, banded Metagross as well, so that's something we have to keep in mind. But we do get an Intimidate off into the Muck slot, which is pretty nice. I do want to preserve my Ninetales here, so I'm going to make the switch into Gyarados and get another Intimidate off on the Muck and kind of render that thing useless. And in the meantime, I'm going to go for a Flamethrower into the Metagross slot and just try to get some damage off and kind of gauge how much it's going to do. And I'm actually thinking he's probably, I want to guess that he's going to double into my Ninetales slot with like a knockoff and a Meteor Mash just to try to break this sash and knock me out. But I'm also thinking there's a potential for a knockoff into the Arcanine slot, which is part of the reason why I want to get the double Intimidate off on it, just to reduce any potential damage. And obviously if he knocks off into the Gyarados slot, then I have my Waterium Z, so it's really not going to be that effective. But I'm assuming one Dragon is in the back, whether it's Salamence or Garchomp, and then the last Pokemon is probably that Gastro. I really feel like it's the Gastrodon, which is why I feel like my Ninetales needs to be in the back. So let's do that. This Metagross is probably the biggest threat that I'm dealing with right now, so I'm hoping that it is going to be locking itself into something. It could go for like a Psychium Z move or something. I don't know what to expect from it, but we'll see what's gonna happen. So he does actually just go for the Shadow Sneak into the Ninetales slot, so it looks like he's gonna fire off a Meteor Mash into that slot as well. And he's actually Poison Touch Mach, which is really obnoxious. And we do get a Flamethrower off into the Metagross, which tells me that he's definitely bulk invested and not looking AV, which is nice. And I'm assuming, oh, we're gonna see a Brick Break into the Gyarados slot. So not too bad of a turn for us. I'm surprised to see Brick Break. The only thing I can think of is if he thought Aurora Veil was coming, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know if Brick Break breaks Aurora Veil. I've never really tried, but this looks like a good opportunity for me to set up a Dragon Dance here. I don't really see any reason not to. I mean, obviously my time is limited, and he shows the Black Sludge, so my time on the field is limited due to the poison. So you know what, maybe I'm just gonna fire off a Waterium Z move into the Muck slot, or into the Metagross perhaps. I'm trying to figure out how I deal with the Muck though. What do I have in the back? I have Nihilego, but I think I want to go Waterium Z. Yeah, I'm gonna go Waterium Z into the Muck. Actually, the Muck is like less of a threat. I just don't want him to poison everything. I could also try to get rid of the Metagross in this turn with Waterium Z plus Flamethrower and just get rid of it. But I'm gonna go into the Muck slot because I know he doesn't have a berry, and then I'm gonna Flamethrower into the Metagross. And after Hail Trip damage, we might be in a decent spot. He's gonna switch out, probably into one of his dragons. And here comes the Garchomp, so it's gonna take a Flamethrower. So good play on my opponent's part there, switching to the Garchomp and potentially putting some pressure on us here. I'm gonna get a nice little Flamethrower off and no burn, and we're gonna see my Waterium Z fire off into the Muck slot. So if I can get an Ice Fang off into that Garchomp, that could be incredibly useful, but there's not a whole lot I can do. So I think what I'm going to be forced to do is maybe protect Arcanine on the following turn, Ice Fang into the Garchomp, and just hope for the best. But we'll see how much this does to the Muck. It is Black Sludge, and this is a neutral, like, non-boosted Waterium Z, but wow, that just straight up killed a Muck in one shot. I can tell you guys, I was not expecting that at all. Under no circumstances did I expect that to kill. So maybe he was just running like offensive, maybe with some speed, or I don't know what his spread was, but Gyarados unfortunately sitting pretty low here as a result of the hail. But we're not in the worst case scenario here. It's not the worst situation in the world. So I'm basically going to, I mean, he can't Earthquake, so if he has Tectonic Rage, he's going to go into the Arcanine. The only thing here is if the Garchomp is carrying Rock Slide. That could be quite annoying if he's like a Scarf Chomp with Rock Slide. But I'm thinking that, oh, here comes the Talonflame. So that's kind of interesting. I almost want to double protect here, but with all that poison kind of racking up, it's a bit unfortunate. I really want to switch out into Nihilego here and reset my Intimidates, but I don't really think that's my greatest decision. So I think what I'm going to do here is, I think I'm just going to go for the Ice Fang into the Garchomp slot. And I think I'm going to go for the Protect with Arcanine and just kind of see what he wants to do. The Hail will break the Talonflame's like, what's it called? It's priority. But if he doubles into Gyarados, that's going to be quite annoying. But then I have Nihilego in the back, and Nihilego can definitely take a hit from the Talonflame. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. And I do have a Sash still, so if he's not Scarf Chomp, then I can really threaten him out with a Blizzard anyway. So let's see what he's going to do. He's going to go for the Tailwind, actually, which is very, very scary. Not something I really thought about. But we'll see what he's going to do here. And he does go for the Stone Edge and does connect it into the Gyarados slot. So great turn on my opponent's part. I wasn't expecting a Tailwind there, if I'm being totally honest. And he is going to take some hail damage here. So not exactly a great turn for us. And now he outspeeds our team with his 2 Pokemon. So pretty scary stuff there, actually. Pretty serious stuff there. I'm trying to think of what I can do at this point in time. I mean, I can go into Nihilego, but he's going to just straight up knock me out with that thing. So, I mean, I can go into Ninetales, but if he doubles into Ninetales, then he basically knocks out Ninetales. So, I think I kind of have to go into Ninetales and simply go for a Blizzard. Going into Nihilego dies to Earthquake. He simply just clicks Earthquake and knocks me out. So, there's not a whole lot I can do there. And now under Tailwind, if he just doubles into... Yeah, if he just doubles into Ninetales, he, like, wins. So... I think I just kind of messed this one up because of the Tailwind. I think I gotta go to Ninetales. Yeah, that wasn't what I wanted, man. It stinks. The Tailwind really messes me up there, and I just make a bad prediction, and he hits a Stone Edge, so not a whole lot I can do there. But I think what I have to do is simply just go for the Blizzard. I don't really think there's another play. And then I think my other play is going to be to maybe just target... I mean, there's no point in switching out. If he Earthquakes, he Earthquakes. There's not really a whole lot I can do about that. So I'm just going to target a Flamethrower into the Talonflame slot in case he switches into Metagross for some reason. But he goes for the Stone Edge again and does connect it into the Ninetales slot. Now, will the Talonflame target the Ninetales is really going to be the question. I'm assuming he is. And if he doesn't, that's going to be awesome. But he does go for the Flare Blitz, and if he connects this, I think we just lose, and he does go into the Ninetales. So very weird that he's running Stone Edge on his Garchomp there. Very, very weird, but I guess it's not quite over yet for one small reason, because he does have the chance to miss those Stone Edges, I guess. So maybe it's not quite over yet. So I think what I need to do here is the Garchomp is my biggest threat at the time. At this moment in time. So I think what I need to do is I'm going to go into Nihilego here and hope that his Garchomp targets into my Arcanine now and allows me to fire off an HP Ice into the Garchomp, and maybe he'll target my I'm trying to think about this real quick. Yeah, I think I need to just HP Ice into the Garchomp and just hope he targets into my Arcanine slot. So I'm going to protect Arcanine here and HP Ice into the Garchomp. And if he doubles into Nihilego and hits the Stone Edge, then he's probably going to knock me out. But I don't think Talonflame can knock me out by itself. So it's not the worst case scenario, but this isn't looking very good for us. This is definitely not looking very good for us. So let's see what happens. But he's hit 2 Stone Edges in a row. I'm thinking he might be Scarf Chomp. Although that wouldn't really make sense. He is Tailwind. But like, why are you running Stone Edge, dude? Like, why didn't you Earthquake? Like, I don't know why he hasn't Earthquaked yet. Stone Edge is so weird when you can run Rock Slide, but that's just the weird stuff. He's going to switch Garchomp out, and that actually is crazy because I targeted into the slot, you know, obviously. So he's going to get away with that, and now it's going to come down to what this Talonflame targeted, and he does go for the Brave Bird. Okay, so it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Hidden Power comes into the Metagross slot. So what I'm going to do now is I basically need to keep Nihilego alive until his Tailwind runs out. So what I'm going to do is I need to Power Gem into the Talonflame and knock it out. I don't think I'm going to be able to do enough to the Metagross with Flamethrower at this point in time, though. What does he have? One turn left of Tailwind? Yeah, he's got 1 turn left of Tailwind. So I have to get rid of the Talonflame, but I also need my Nihilego to beat his Garchomp. So I think I have to protect on this turn. If I double into Metagross right now with Power Gem Flamethrower and try to knock it out, I guess that's an option. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm gonna try to do, is just double into the Metagross here and try to knock it out and see what happens. He's gonna Brave Bird, and I'm assuming he goes into the Arcanine slot. Yeah, he does. Okay. If I can get rid of the Metagross here and he loses his Tailwind, oh wow, that does so much damage. My goodness. It's gonna activate our Citrus, and hopefully we can secure the kill on the oh, Metagross goes for Earthquake. Wait, why is he faster this time? Oh, the Tailwind. I should have double protected. That's okay. So I make a misplay there. I forgot about the Tailwind was still active. I just was thinking to myself that I was outspeeding the Metagross the entire time. So I don't know if I was going to be able to pull that one back either way. So the proper play there would have been a double protect on the following turn, Flamethrower, and then hope for a high roll and Power Gem into the Talonflame. And then I would have need to pick up the kill on the Metagross, which it looked like we would have been a little bit shy on that. And if he simply Tailwind with Talonflame there, then I lose to Garchomp anyway. So I don't think I was going to win that. I totally saw the Tailwind, and I'm thinking in my head that I was going to outspeed there, but that's okay. It's no big deal. The Metagross does knock aside. I'm assuming that thing was probably like banded or something, but that's okay, man. We had a really, really great game on the first one, and the second one, like, I'm a little disappointed on how I played. I feel like it was definitely a winnable match, but it really ultimately came down to the fact that I wasn't able to handle his lead matchup that well, and then I allowed him to just set up Tailwind, and I didn't really calculate that as a huge threat at the time, but that's really what Talonflame does. I haven't faced too many of them. I usually just see them use their, like, flying Z move, and then that's pretty much it. But that makes a lot of sense for him to be running the Tailwind, and you can just see how much that can change a match. Like, I haven't faced too much Tailwind yet, but it's a very effective move, and it totally destroyed us there. But either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. We're still learning, you know what I mean? I'm happy with it. It's all good. So hopefully we can bring this team back soon and pick up some W's. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that like button if you did. Subscribe if you're new. That's gonna be it for me, guys. My name is Dan. I'll go by aDrive, and I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace.